My car was leaking radiator fluid, so I got this radiator pressure test kit from Harbor Freight, and I've used it a couple times on some of my cars. But in this scenario, basically I screwed on the GM green cap, and then I got this little pump here and put roughly about 15 pounds of pressure in here, and then I was able to get underneath the car and see where the antifreeze was leaking out of, and it turns out that it was coming out of the water pump. The water pump actually just had a bad gasket on it, but I replaced the pump and the gasket because it really wasn't too pricey. And then also, so those are some of the pieces of equipment that I used in this repair. And then I also wanted to show you, this is the breaker bar or idler tensioner bar for loosening up your belt when you do the repair. And it's basically just got a little square peg on it, and that gets inserted in the idler lever, and you can put some torque on there to loosen up the belt. So that's a very handy tool as well in replacement and loosening of the belt. So anyway, hopefully that's helpful. Today I'm replacing the water pump on a Chevy Impala 2006. As you can see, this is the new pump, and so I'm going to explain how I got the old one out. And overall, a fairly easy job to do. So when this pump is basically on the car, there's these 4 bolts. I basically took that out and took off this pulley. And then, as you can see on the new water pump here, there's these bolt holes. So basically, if you take all those bolts out, this water pump will pop right off the engine block, and it will allow you to take that out easily. So basically, that came from down here, and the engine block, probably can't see it too well, but it's let me see if I can get a little point of the deal. It's basically down in this section down here, right down there. So I was able to get my hands down there to pull out the bolts pretty easy. I also took off this little hose holder bracket and moved that out of the way to get a little more room down where the water pump rests. I did have to get a breaker bar and get it on the idler to dismantle the belt off of some of the pulleys, so I could then get in there and easily yank out the water pump. So that's where we're at so far. Probably at about half an hour into this so far. It's been fairly easy to work with. Also a little bit of the antifreeze drained out, once I pump that off, but I'm gonna put some new antifreeze back in there to refill. So that's what we're doing so far on this repair.